Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, whether you're driving a Pinto or driving a Mercedes, sit down, sit up. It doesn't matter, Buttercup, because we're here. We're here, so don't live in fear. And we are here to not only transpire, but we're here to inspire. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second video of the Inspired with Christopher YouTube page. And I just want to say, guys, it's crazy so far, the views that I have. Honestly, I was expecting only like 3 views, and I was blown away by it. And thank you, guys, and thank you so much for like the positive feedback so far from it. Even though it was only an intro video, that's pretty damn cool, guys. So thank you for like your positive messages on Facebook. Thank you for your positive messages on Twitter. I do appreciate it. But I did have some people tell me that I look kind of rough. So I decided for this video like to clean up a little bit, shave the face, let the hair come out, and let like my beautiful mane show, so to speak. You know what I'm saying, guys? Just trying to style and profile for all you wonderful people out there. That's right. So with that said, something I was thinking to myself was, okay, how am I going to start this series on my YouTube page? How am I going to speak to you guys, and what am I going to speak about? And which I was praying about it last night for like my first long-handed video, and God put it on my heart. Well, there's people out there that do listen to your podcast, but there's also people that haven't heard it and they don't know your story necessarily. So why not start from the beginning? And which I'm not going to go very long-winded about this, but I'm going to tell you guys a wonderful story where God pretty much saved my life. And for like the non-Christians out there, for like the non-believers out there, what I'm about to tell you is called a testimony. So I'm going to tell you where I was in my life up to the point that I found Jesus, and what happened when I found God, and what happened afterwards. So I hope and pray that my story, it can inspire you guys, and that can help you guys in your journey, wherever you might be in your life, whether you are an atheist, whether you are a Christian that's struggling, whether you are a Catholic, whether you are a Mormon. It doesn't matter, guys. I feel like, honestly, no matter what we believe in, that we are all one giant family, and one thing that we can all agree on is love and respect for one another, and realizing that no matter what we believe in, that we can agree to disagree, and we can do it like within a respectful manner. And with that said, you guys know that I am a Christian, that I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that Jesus, he came down to earth. He lived for 33 years total, and he sacrificed his life for me and for every single person living at the moment. And guys, I just want to let you know that before I became a Christian, I was one of those kids in high school where I tried to wear the coolest clothes. I tried to do everything within my ability to keep up with the Joneses and fit into what was cool within my school. And it's funny, and it's extremely ironic, because like the more that I tried to fit in, the more people saw me for being a fake and for being a fraud. And it really added to my depression, and it really added to my frustration, because honestly, all I really wanted was to be accepted. I did. But little did I realize at the time that being accepted by the world and being accepted by God. They're two completely different things. And for me at the time, like the God honest truth is, as you guys know, I struggle with a speech impediment where I stutter, and 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 at the time, it was my junior year of high school. I was in such a bad depression that I was planning on killing myself. I was. My parents, the God honest truth is that they were in chronic pain, so they had pain medication. So, well, what I did, like without their knowledge, was I would steal a bunch of my parents' pain pills, and literally, what I was planning on doing was one night was I was planning on literally taking all those pills and killing myself. Um, and the day that I was planning on doing it, this is how crazy God is. Like the day that I was planning on doing it, I was walking into. It was during a period called homeroom. So basically, like in homeroom, it's like a 30 to 45 minute period in high school to where you can go from classroom to classroom, speak to your friends, hang out, and at the time I was talking to my friend Kevin Tashuti, which now he's not just a friend, he's a brother. He's somebody that I would literally take a bullet for and someone that I would literally die for. Which I was talking to him at the time, and he happened to be talking to my other brother, Tim Giuliani, and Tim at the time, he had already given like his life to Christ, and every single time I heard Tim talk about God, every single time I heard anybody talk about God, I would laugh at them because honestly, I thought Christians at the time that they used their faith as a crutch to make excuses for their actions and to pass judgment on others and to make fun of others and to basically act like they're holier than thou. But little did I realize that if you're holier than thou and if you were perfect, then you wouldn't need God at all. Because as a matter of fact, whenever you call on Jesus for your life, it's actually for the exact opposite purpose, because you recognize that you're imperfect and that you are a disaster, you are a mess, and the only thing that can fill that void in your life, because God purposely puts a God-sized void in your heart, only He can fill. But it's a matter of you calling upon Him to fill that void. So during that homeroom period, I was talking to my friend Kevin. It was something about it was about baseball, because at the time, I believe the Pittsburgh Pirates were playing the Baltimore Orioles in interleague play, and with me originally being from Baltimore, I was talking crap to Kevin. We were just joking around, and Tim, he kind of chimed in and like was saying like the Orioles sucked, like just it was fun banter going back and forth, and Tim said to me, and it made the hair on my arm stand up. Tim said to me, Chris, God's telling me that there's something going on in your life, and I really feel like you need to go to youth group with me and with Kevin. And I really didn't give a shit because I thought to myself, you know what, I don't care. I don't care to hear this Jesus mumbo jumbo. It doesn't matter to me. I was planning on killing myself anyways that night. So I'm just like, you know what, I don't care. And speaking of the whole thing, like with pills and stuff like that, a back note on that, Kevin at the time, because I was full blown addicted to pain medication as well. And Kevin, there was mornings where Kevin would go to breakfast with me at school, and literally Kevin would be holding me because I would be so messed up and so damn out of it that there's times where he had to hold me up from my face falling into my food. Plus, there were times where I couldn't get pills, so I would be freaking so so angry and so aggravated over going through withdrawal that Kevin would be the one that would help me get through that. So I was very, very grateful for that. And so we were having that discussion in homeroom, and it's crazy to think that it wasn't the whole Jesus thing that got me wanting to go to like the youth group thing, but it was free food. Okay? Tim said to me, well, you might not want to come for the Jesus, but we got chicken wings. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Yes, I do love me some chicken wings, so you know what? Let me put off this whole killing me thing for later. And I will eat first. I'll get a full stomach, and then I'll do the deed, right? So Tim picked me up for that night. It was Kevin in the van with him. Tim drives a van. He drove a van called Clifford. It was like a big. It was like a big red Mercury van. He called it Clifford, and the group that he used to ride with, which included me, he called us the Van Clan, and he called me, Kevin, and Nick. Nick was one of like the fellow members of like the youth group. He called us the Four Stooges. So that was fun, and like the crazy part about it is that like the noticeable difference between before becoming a Christian and then afterwards is that you get annoyed like with certain things being a non-Christian that you normally wouldn't be annoyed with being a Christian. For example, as soon as I got in the van to go to the youth group, I'd literally Tim put on Christian rock. It was a band by the name of Jonah 33. And like the song is called All For You. And good Lord, it was like nails on a chalkboard to me. Like the music, I couldn't freaking stand it. It was terrible. And good Lord, I just couldn't, words couldn't describe how annoying it was to me. But the Bible clearly speaks of, for the non-believers, for the ones that speak against God, for like the ones that hate on God, whenever like the word of Christ is mentioned, like the name of Jesus, you will hear demons screech. So basically it's like nails on a chalkboard to people that don't believe, because they don't want to hear it. Because the reason why is that like with God, there's truth behind what he's saying. So like with the truth, people sometimes don't want to hear it, because guess what? Whenever like the truth is revealed, you must be held accountable for it. So that's where people a lot of the time, like they choose to deny things. So for me, I was going through that process, and like we went to youth group that night, and I met a gentleman by the name of John Morse. He was the youth pastor for the youth group that we went to, which I went to St. Philip's Episcopal Church, by the way, guys. And the youth ministry, it was called 412, based off the Bible verse 1 Timothy 4:12. And for people out there, let's do like a little bit of Bible study. Look up 1 Timothy 4:12. And hopefully that like will help you realize and give you like a little bit more in depth to what the mission of the youth group was. And so like I went to youth group, I was listening to what John Morse was saying, like the youth pastor, and he started, God was using him as a vessel, and he started chipping away at me, so to speak. He started chipping away at my preconceived notions about Christians. He started chipping away about my feelings about the way life is and everything else. Because honestly, I was sad, I was mad, I was depressed because I tried so hard to fit in based off the way that the world wanted me to fit in, but I was rejected just as hard as I tried. And mainly it was because I was having issues with accepting the fact that my mother was disabled and my father, I'm extremely grateful for his contributions in my life. I never went without. He was always there for me. He was always at the baseball games, the football games, you name it. But my father worked so much that he hardly ever spent time with me. And then there was times where my father, based off his own issues, would fall off the wagon and drink. So dealing with my mother's sickness and dealing with my dad drinking occasionally, it just really, really bothered me because there were times where my parents, yes, financially there for me, but emotionally, sometimes they weren't there for me, and it was frustrating. And literally a couple years prior, my brother joined the United States Navy, so I felt a void in my life from that because I looked up to my brother. He was my protector, he was my hero, and he joined the Navy. He got stationed in San Diego, California, and I understand it. You graduate high school, you start your life, but it was very scary for me because I didn't have that protector anymore. I didn't. So like that void was in my life as well. So between dealing with my parents, dealing with my brother, dealing with my depression, dealing with all that stuff, guys, it was a lot of pressure for a teenager to deal with. And so I figured, you know what, the best thing to do is just end it all. Just end it all, just get it over with. And all this anger, all this hatred will be gone and over with. So like the very first night on youth group, John started chipping away. But I wasn't convinced. I wasn't completely convinced. And the 2 weeks later, I went back to youth group, and they were playing the movie The Passion of the Christ. And that right there started to tear down the walls of my anger and my resentment and blaming God for everything, because I had the preconceived notion that a lot of non-believers have, and that is that if God is real, then how come all these bad things happen to good people? And little did I realize, but the majority of things that happen, God has no control over. He gives us a thing called free will. So 9 times out of 10, we're blaming God for things that humans are doing. And, guys, I just want to say that, when it comes to being mature in your faith and your walk in life, one of the steps in growing up, so to speak, is realizing that not everything is God's fault. It's not. Sometimes you have to take responsibility for your words and for your actions, and it's like something that my brother Tim told me. He said, the one thing, Chris, that you got to realize about life is that there's 2 things that you can control, and that is your words and that is your actions. And you need to learn how to control both, because only then will you be able to benefit yourself and benefit the people around you. So the 2 weeks later, we were watching The Passion of the Christ. That started to chip away at me more. That started to tear down my preconceived notions. And then literally a week and a half later, we went to a place called Fun for All. And that And that was one of those places. It's got like putt-putt, it's got go-kart racing, it's got a huge arcade, it's got all that cool stuff, guys. And just like to let you know, this is all happening in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, just in case you're wondering. And that night, I was with a group of kids. I was with Pastor John, and literally while driving go-karts, God spoke to me. And God said to me, "You know I'm real. You know I'm here. What is stopping you from following me? I can't promise that things will be easier in life, but I promise you that I will be there every step of the way for you. Through pain, through suffering, through everything, I will be there for you." And I see all these youth group kids that weren't passing judgment on me, that were loving me for the person that I was. And I didn't try to be cool or fit in or keep up with the Joneses with them, because I realized, you know what? All they really cared about was just me being myself. And they loved me for that. So literally, while driving a go-kart, guys, I had tears going down my eyes. And I gave my life to Christ then. And that was 15 years ago. So literally half of my life I've been a believer. And I just wanted to let you guys know, for the non-believers out there, that I do understand you have your resentments and you have your questions, and you're speculating over certain things, thinking, well, Chris, that whole God thing might be good for you, but I can care less about it. Well, I'm just going to let you guys know from my experience that whether you're struggling with drugs, whether you're struggling with alcohol, whether you're dealing with depression, or you're dealing with family issues, spousal issues, kids issues, it doesn't matter. There is a void that's purposely put in your heart that will never get filled from anything else in your life except with God. And I promise you that if you choose to give your life to Jesus Christ, that will be the greatest decision you have ever made in your life. And guess what? Through Jesus Christ, every single morning that I wake up, I look next to my beautiful wife. I got a roof over my head. I got clothes on my back. I got food in my stomach. I got a job to go to. And I have the two greatest gifts of my life, and that's my daughter and my son. And that wasn't all by accident. That wasn't all by chance. That was all done by design, because I'm telling you right now, regardless of circumstance, no matter where you are in life, as long as you're faithful to God, He will meet your needs. You will never go without. And you'll be blessed beyond belief. So guys, I just want to say that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. And God, for the non-believers out there, God is just waiting for you to reach your hand out and say, hey, what's stopping you? And by the way, before I go, guys, that rock band that Tim was playing, Jonah 33, which I thought it was freaking cats getting murdered or nails on the chalkboard, now they're one of my favorite rock bands. So yeah, it's crazy how seeing things from one perspective changes whenever you go to another perspective. And when it comes to my spiritual journey, I started out as an Episcopalian, and then I became a Methodist, and now I'm a non-denominational Christian, because as I get older, I realize that it's not about religion, but it's about a relationship. And for the people out there, keep this in mind. There's a difference. Religion is a man-made construct that tries to convince people that they have to do certain things, and they have to achieve certain goals in order to be blessed by God. When in fact, Jesus, he came down to earth and he sacrificed for us and he lived for us so we didn't have to go by a man-made construct. And Jesus says, cut that crap out, cut out the middleman, just go straight to me and have that relationship. Because it's not about religion, it's about a relationship. And guys, no matter where you're at in life, it doesn't matter if you're a heroin addict, it doesn't matter if you're a deadbeat dad, it doesn't matter if you are on the verge of suicide. Jesus loves you. And you don't have to fix your life up to come to him. He'll come to you. And you're talking to a 3-time suicide survivor. Suicide attempt survivor. There you go. Because, yes, I do believe in God, but I also struggle with mental illness with bipolar, manic depression. And every single day, guys, it's a struggle. But I recognize my blessings, and I recognize that God has a reason for me being here, no matter what happens. So please, to everybody out there, hey, if you're struggling, don't be silent. Please, please speak out. And if you guys want to talk to me, I am extremely accessible. You can reach me on Twitter at IamCHM911. You can reach me on Facebook. You can look me up by my name. It's Christopher Howard Martin. And you can reach me at my email at IamCHM911@gmail.com. And if you would, guys, please check out my podcast, Inspired with Christopher, which drops every single week, which is available on most major platforms. And guys, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Inspired with Christopher podcast. Also the YouTube page, guys. I'm so excited to share this journey with you going forward. And please, if you guys have any things that you want to share, please, by all means, share it with me. And if you guys want to come on my show and share your story, come on. Because I want to help inspire others. And through me doing that, that's not just me, but the people that I interact with. So please, guys, if you have an amazing story to share it, please. Because I want this all to be about not just me, but about all of us. Alright, guys? I love you. Thank you so much for taking time out to listen to me today and watch me. And I hope and pray that you all have a safe, blessed, joyous, and happy day. God bless. Peace.